Did you guess that it was me, Mrs. Sweatman, as your masked reader? I hope you enjoyed The Grumpy Monkey, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
When a lobster buys a bathrobe. When a lobster sees a puppet show, he stays until the end. He watches by himself sometimes, or he may bring a friend. To make sure he hears every word, the lobster's very quiet. That's not the case with everyone, but others ought to try it. When a lobster eats a raisin, he delights in every bite, and that is quite important because he bites one every night. Once he's chewed the whole thing up, it settles in his tummy, and sometimes he has seconds because the first one was so yummy. When a lobster plays with monkeys, he does just what monkeys do. He swings around from tree to tree and eats bananas too. The monkeys never think he's unlike them in any way, or perhaps they really do, and they're just too polite to say. When a lobster rides a motorbike, he leans into the breeze. He rides in perfect balance, taking every curve with ease. He keeps his focus straight ahead and never looks behind. If something happens way back there, the lobster doesn't mind. When a lobster knits a scarf, he uses very special yarn. He gets it from a sheep he knows who lives out in the barn. When at last the scarf is done and stunning to behold, the lobster gives it to the sheep so she won't catch a cold. When a lobster plants a marigold, he places it just so. It seems he knows exactly what will make that flower grow. He gives the seed a magic mix of water, love, and sun, and that's the kind of gardening that cannot be outdone. When a lobster packs a suitcase, every item has its place. Between the seams, he packs some creams to moisturize his face. He probably won't use them, but he packs them just in case. It really doesn't matter because they don't take up much space. When a lobster takes a photograph, he chooses what he shoots. He may not shoot a centipede unless he's wearing boots, or maybe he wears saddle shoes or something in a slipper, or something with a buckle or a button or a zipper. When a lobster buys a bathrobe, he makes sure to take his time. If the fabric isn't thick and soft, he will not spend a dime. He knows exactly what he wants and only wants the best. And if he doesn't find it, he prefers to go undressed. When a lobster wears a parachute, he floats across the sky. He watches eagles ride the wind and sees the clouds go by. With nothing else to do up there and no one else around, he likes to dream of all the things he'll do back on the ground. When a lobster drinks a milkshake, he prefers to use a straw. He places it precisely, then he holds it with his claw. He drinks the potion sip by sip while tasting every taste, and by the time he's finished, not a droplet goes to waste. When a lobster paints a masterpiece, he always signs his name, but the painting's not complete until he puts it in a frame. Finally, he hangs it, making certain that it's straight, and that's the way a master makes a masterpiece look great. When a lobster meets a unicorn, he always shows respect. There are simply no exceptions, and believe me, I have checked. That's just the way these lobsters are according to my source, and then of course a unicorn's no ordinary horse. When a lobster wears a tutu, there's a chance that he will dance, 'cause if he doesn't plan to dance, he'll wear a pair of pants. He may throw on his favorite jeans, or maybe he'll wear shorts, but shorter pants mean there's a chance he plans on playing sports. When a lobster sees a rainbow, he can't seem to look away. The beauty stops him in his tracks, and that's where he will stay. Unless that rainbow disappears, the lobster stays all day, and if he misses something else, that's perfectly okay. When a lobster studies Swedish, he remembers every word, which is why he feels at home wherever Swedish words are heard. He's also known to hold his own in Latin and in Greek. While pigs speak Latin too, whatever Greek they speak is weak. When a lobster sings the blues, he puts his soul in every note. The same cannot be said of a coyote or a goat. They simply do not share the lobster's flair for melody, though a goat may dance a little if he thinks no one will see. When a lobster meets a movie star, he doesn't stop and stare. He just keeps right on walking as if nobody is there, 'cause fame is simply not enough to catch a lobster's eye, but he will stop if he sees something funny passing by. When a lobster rides a seesaw, he goes up or he goes down. When he's sitting way up top, he has a perfect view of town. When he's sitting on the bottom, he looks up into the sky, and when he's in between, he watches people passing by. When a lobster and a tsetse fly spend too much time inside, they may get on each other's nerves and both may want to hide. They may pretend they're busy paying bills or doing chores, but in the end they're fine if they just spend some time outdoors. When a lobster writes a children's book, he measures every word. He has a knack for rhyming, or at least that's what I've heard. You might think he'd write about a wizard or an elf, but typically, as you can see, he writes about himself. When a lobster's with his closest friends, he plays the day away, for there's no greater joy in life than lobster friends at play. And if they're in the ocean, well, that's even better yet, 'cause everything a lobster loves is better when it's wet. So if you're in the ocean and you hear the sound of laughter, you'll know you've found our lobster living happily ever after.